They're asking us to sketch some related functions. In the first category, which I'll put a cloud around here, we notice that all of the bases are numbers that are greater than 1. The first one is base 2, the second one is base 3, the third one is base 4. So we'll graph them together on this axis. In the next set, we have functions, exponential functions, where the base are fractions between 0 and 1. 1/2 base, 1/3 base, 1/4 base. We're going to graph those together in this category where the base b is between 0 and 1. Okay, let's do the set on the left first. First, let's do the graph of y sub 2. Y sub 2 is going to be passing through 1 on the y-axis and then asymptotic. I didn't draw it that well, but it's kind of lazy laying down. Okay, and that's y sub 2. Now let's do y sub 3. Y sub 3 is 3 raised to the x. Now it's standing a little taller, going through the same intercept, and getting down to this lazy position on the x-axis a little bit faster. That's y sub 3. And finally, let's do y sub 4. That's base 4 raised to the x power. Now it's really standing tall, passing through the same y-intercept, and then coming down asymptotic to the x-axis. That is y sub 4. So there's a pattern here, if you examine these, and the pattern is this. As the base grows larger as it goes up, it went from base 2 for y sub 2 to base 3 for y sub 3 and to base 4 for y sub 4. As the base got larger and larger, the graph did something. The graph stands taller. So I'm just going to make a note of that so that I remember that. That's what happens where bases are greater than 1. As the base increases, the graph still has the same y-intercept. It's still asymptotic to the x-axis. However, it stands taller. Now let's see what the pattern is for the base on the right side, the group of functions on the right side. The base is between 0 and 1. It's a fraction. First, we'll do y sub 5. Y sub 5 has base 1/2. And that one now is coming in from the other direction. It's kind of lazy, passing through the 1, then asymptotic to the x-axis. That is y sub 5. It's base 1/2. Now let's do base 1/3. That one stands a little bit taller, passing through the same intercept on the y-axis, and then it grows asymptotic. That is y sub 6. And finally, the last one, y sub 7, is the base 1/4 raised to the x power. And if you graph that, you would see that that one stands even taller, passing through the same intercept and then drawing down to the x-axis a lot quicker. That's y sub 7. So the pattern in this one is different. For the base between 0 and 1, the pattern is that as the base value doesn't get larger, but it gets smaller. As the base value gets smaller, because think about 1/2 is larger, 1/3 is smaller, 1/4 is even smaller yet. So as the base grows smaller, the graph stands taller. It does the opposite of what the other example did on the left. And it's just a way to help us remember the characteristics of this exponential function graph. So if we had to consider what the picture looked like, we could get a good idea by remembering these properties.